it's Laynie and welcome to my channel. How are you doing today? Leave it down below. So, if you are new here, you may not realize last week in my video, I talked about my most expensive fragrances. They were my most expensive niche fragrances in my collection, which was so fun to chat about, but I didn't want to make the video 700 years long, so I did not include any of my Navitus Parfums fragrances. So that is what we're going to talk about today. If you're curious, I will tell you all about which fragrances I have purchased and my thoughts on them. So if you love fragrance content, make sure you click that subscribe button and join the fam. You won't regret it. I'm gonna try not to ramble, but you know that's hard for me. All right, let's just get started. So right now in my collection, I have 4 Navitus Parfums fragrances. I have had more. I will talk about the ones I have decluttered from my collection and my thoughts on them, and I will tell you the one I want to add to my collection still. So I do really love the fragrances I have in my collection from Navitus, but here's my big complaint. I have not purchased in over a year because they changed their pricing. They did up their prices, which I know so many fragrances did when inflation went up and all the stuff going on in the economy, like fragrances went up in general. They used to run really great, great promotions when they would launch a new fragrance, especially if they were one that paired up with a YouTube collaborator. And then they got rid of that style of discount. Now you have to buy like multiple fragrances to get the discount, or sometimes they give you like a free body spray, but that ain't doing it for me, okay? No, I don't want the body spray, and I don't want to have to buy multiple of your very expensive fragrances because most of us are on a budget now and we cannot do that. And so I just think they are overpriced now. When I used to be able to get them on a budget, I would pick them up on occasion. So I used to have Absolutio. I really loved Absolutio. It was definitely a spin-off of Baccarat. It really reminded you of it. I got more of the driftwood, more of the chocolate notes, and a little bit more of like a greenery scent in there than Baccarat, but you could definitely tell it was very much inspired by it. To me, it smelled exactly like Christmas time. Exactly. There was something so Christmassy about the fragrance. I think it's because I picked up quite a bit of kind of a green Christmas tree scent in there. And so the only time I wore it was on Christmas. That was it. And so the bottle just was not getting used. It is their older style bottle. I'd had it a long time. I think my biggest issue with it was it definitely was unisex, leaning masculine, which isn't my favorite. So I just wasn't reaching for it enough. I did enjoy it, but I did end up decluttering that one. And then I had also picked up Navitus Lost in a Dream. I used to watch Paulina Shar a lot, so I wanted to support, and I picked up her Lost in a Dream. I loved the idea of the croissant note in there. It was supposed to be a milky croissant fragrance, and I did get it a little bit. I feel like the croissant note became a bit stronger over some time, but there was definitely like an incensey thing going on in there that really leaned a bit smoky to me, and I don't love smoky fragrances. It is a very hard note for me. The only one I keep in my collection all the time is my dupe of By the Fireplace. It's because I do love it a day or two in the fall when I'm sitting by the fireplace at my in-laws' house. But I don't love smoky fragrances enough where I'm gonna pick them up on the regular. The Lost in a Dream to me was really pretty on a rainy, gloomy day. There was something a bit cozy about it, but I was not wearing it enough. So I thought, okay, someone else will love this. So I did go ahead and declutter Lost in a Dream. Melon Kiss by Navitus was a collab with Gabby Loves Perfumes. I used to watch her channel a lot as well. This one caught my eye because you don't see melon notes a lot in fragrances. In here we have top notes of melon and bergamot, mid notes of melon and coconut, and base notes of honey and vanilla. This is definitely a honeydew fragrance, and you really do get it. It honestly smells like a very ripe, juicy honeydew melon. So it's interesting. It's a bit unique because, again, you don't see honeydew in a lot of fragrances. There is definitely a very creamy, milky coconut in here that really pairs beautifully with that melon, honestly. And then a honey that I do get quite a bit of. So if you don't like a honey fragrance, I do not think you would like this, because in the deep dry down, I really get a lot of like a creamed honey scent. I do love this fragrance. It's very yummy, pretty syrupy, it's pretty sweet, which I've been struggling with super sweet fragrances. There is something a little bit fresh in there that I do think kind of balances out the sweetness, and I really think it's just the fact it's more of a green melon fragrance, but you still definitely get a perfume vibe from it, which I appreciate. I don't see myself getting rid of this one anytime soon, even though on occasion I'm like, maybe it's a little bit too redundant, because I do have Ellis Brooklyn Bee, which is very honey forward as well, but the uniqueness of that melon note in there definitely makes me then go, nope, she stands on her own. That is Melon Kiss. One that I never understood why it didn't get more love, this is Kind Intentions, which was also a collab with Paulina Shar. This is a very unique vanilla in my opinion, but still really likable and wearable for how unique it is. Top notes of seaweed. I believe she called it hay, but I could see honestly kind of both notes being in here. Mandarin, iris, mid, frankincense and white flowers. Base notes, oak moss, vanilla, musk, sandalwood, and benzoin. I picked this up secondhand on Mercari, so I did get a really good deal on it, which I love. I always love a good deal. This is unisex for sure, but the amount of vanilla in here makes it perfectly unisex where I feel totally comfortable wearing it. This is a yummy vanilla that is very perfumey and not too sweet at all. There really is a hay note in here. Knowing she said hay, that is what sticks out in my memory when I smell this. I'm like, yes, it is a hay. It's a very like dry, grassy note. It's the type of grass that when you break it, it doesn't spritz. It literally goes because it's so dry. But you know how hay is kind of like a tan, and I grew up out in the country, so if you grew up in the city, you might not know this, but like hay bales that sit out in the sun, they get really warm, and I get like this really warm, dry grassiness. Or in the summertime, when it's really hot out and your grass, it's not growing, it's dry and crunchy under your feet. I do get that, but I really like it. It makes me think of like warm sunshine and dry grass, which sounds weird, but I really like it. I think this is truly elegant. It's elevated. It's a little classy. And again, since my nose has been changing and I don't love overly sweet fragrances all the time anymore, this is perfect because it is just perfectly sweet from vanilla, but not like added sugar. I really love Kind Intentions. I think it's very, very unique. I honestly can't think of another vanilla that smells like this. I don't see this going anywhere in my collection because I truly love it. It's an easy reach for me, for sure. Next up we have Venom of Love, which was another Paulina collab. This really is a very good fragrance, okay? Very good. This has top notes of sour cherry, liqueur, bitter almond. In the mid, you have cherry, chocolate, and Turkish rose, and jasmine. In the base, there's almond, amberwood, vanilla, and whipped cream. This is such a good, smooth, rich cherry fragrance. The chocolate in here is done really nicely where it's not overpowering. It just pairs really beautifully with the cherry. The almond to me goes spicy almond because there's no super spicy notes listed, but I would think there is like a pink pepper or cinnamon or something spicy in here. If you have Tom Ford's Lost Cherry or a dupe, which I do have, you really don't need this one. It truly definitely was inspired by Lost Cherry. They're not twins, but they're very, very, very similar. I will be honest, I don't find myself loving super chocolatey fragrances. I tried a sample of Montal's Chocolate Greedy, and then next up is Chocolate Queen. This is a Gabby Loves Perfume collab. I will be honest, I don't find myself loving super chocolatey fragrances. I tried a sample of, or no, I think I had a full bottle of Montal's Chocolate Greedy and I ended up decluttering it. I know so many people love the, there's like that Swiss Arabian fragrance that's like $5 that's very chocolatey. I don't love super chocolatey fragrances. If it's like a note that plays within it, sure, but like when that is the main note, I don't love it. With the name, I was kind of nervous if I would like this or not. This has top notes of dark chocolate, dulce de leche, and hazelnut, mid notes of Bailey's Irish Cream, chocolate fudge, caramel, and bitter almond. In the base, we have vanilla, praline, amberwood, and sandalwood. I will tell you, for not loving chocolate fragrances, I do really like this one, and I think the saving graces for me is the nuttiness. I do love a good nutty fragrance. The Irish cream, I'm a huge fan of Irish cream, and the caramel in here and the smoothness from the chocolates and from the sandalwood and the vanilla. This really is a beautiful fragrance. I could see the right man wearing this. It is not overly feminine by any means, but those gourmand notes, I tend to think feminine, but I could definitely see, honestly, the right man totally rocking this. The only reason I've thought about decluttering it is because it's kind of only those cold months, and lately in the Midwest, we only really have seems like 2 super bitter cold months, and I hate the winter, and so then I find myself never going anywhere where I'm really dressing up, and this is kind of a dressy fragrance, and so then I don't reach for it enough, and so she hasn't got enough love as she should. Chocolate Queen is a beauty. The last fragrance I want to mention is one I've had on my wish list for a while. I haven't dove in yet, and if I did, it would definitely be secondhand because I would not pay big money for it. It was the Baklava Royale, which definitely reminds me a lot of Sol de Janeiro, but a much more rich, even a little bit nuttier version. It was so good. I had a sample of it, and I remember just being obsessed with how I smelled when I was wearing it, but because it does remind me of Sol de Janeiro, I haven't taken the plunge, but it is on my saved list on Mercari, where if the right deal popped up, I would probably pick her up because I do remember loving it so much, but it's been a few years since I've had the sample, so maybe I could be disappointed if I got it now. Those are all of my Navitus perfumes that I've had, that I currently have, and that I've thought about getting. Have you ever tried any Navitus fragrances? I know they have an offshoot now, which is called Vivamore, which is a bit more affordable. I have thought about trying them out, but with my current collection and the things already on my wish list, I'm like, girl, control yourself. It's getting out of hand over there. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And as always, please try to stay positive, because at the end of the day, that is truly all we can try to do. Mwah! I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.